We've reached the final stage of the old year, stage 4. In stage 3, we navigated the intense mental pressure of the 61st gate of inner truth. This is the gate of mystery, and we grounded it through the 62nd gate, which is the gate of details. We asked for the facts, just give me the facts. I just want the facts. And stripping away the fantasies of what we hoped the last year was, and instead acknowledging what it actually was about, getting to that inner truth with the facts and the details. Now that the facts are clear, there's only one thing left to do. We've entered stage 4. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Nariah Fox, and this video is a part of a short series walking you through the Rave New Year stage by stage. And if you missed the earlier videos, they're linked below, so you can gain a fuller picture as you process and close out your past experiences of 2025. So, let's have a look at stage 4. The sun has entered the 60th gate, the gate of limitation. Acceptance. This is the end of the line. The gate that stands immediately before the starting line of the new cycle. Ra was very clear about the purpose of this energy. It's about letting go. It's always about letting go. Sitting deep in the root center and pointing upward towards the sacral center, this is indeed the gate of acceptance. It represents the pressure to surrender to what is mechanically true about your form, the physical limits, the time constraints, the energetic realities of the year that you just lived. You know what really happened. We just went through the inner truth and figured out what the facts were. Now, it's time to accept the limits. And without accepting those limits, there's no mutation available, there's no transformation, and there's no pulse to propel you forward. Stagnation. This can feel really depressive, especially if you resist it. As an individual gate, it's melancholic by nature, but it's always just waiting for that pulse of energy to fuel the mutation. If you honor your authority and follow your strategy, acceptance aligns with your vehicle, your body, perfectly. Limitation is something extraordinary because what limitation is all about is transcendence. The moment that you can escape limitation, it no longer exists. That's a quote from Ra, Urahu, and I find it to be absolutely true. In one of my study groups or question and answer sessions that I did last week, I do so many of them that I just can't even keep which one's which straight sometimes. So during this, we were talking about this and how this absolutely is the thing. For me personally, it's not until I want to say give up, surrender, let go, what I think needs to happen is when the path ahead of me clears away. This year, the theme of limitation, it's not just a background hum. It's kind of more like a roar. So today is January 18th, 2026. And around noon Eastern time, I'm in Eastern time, so I always do everything according to that. So around noon, there's this experience that's going to be happening. It's going to be a profound overabundance of acceptance, of limitation, because there's a lot of planets transiting through the 60th gate. A whole lot of energy in this gate. So there's just going to be this brief window today where the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars will all be in the 60th gate. This isn't an accident. This is the program at work. The neutrino stream is really just hammering this so effectively. The theme of limitation is hammering it into the collective consciousness. The pressure to let go is so enormous right now. The program's literally screaming. Okay, maybe not literally, figuratively. The program it's just screaming, stop, 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 stop. Recognize the limit. Okay, accept it. Transcend it by accepting it. For the not self, this can feel really, really crushing, harsh, uncomfortable. That pressure, that physical adrenalized pressure, like a desperate attempt to hold on to whatever is already done. Hold on to it and hold on to it and just try to squeeze a little bit more life out of it. But when you look closely at the mechanics, there's a little bit of a dance happening here. So for this stage 4 image, instead of using the image when the sun moved into gate 60, I decided to go ahead and use this image when all of these planets are aligned in gate 60. The sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And this energy is being grounded, the sun's energy is being grounded in 56. Okay, so the moon, it's just zipping through briefly because it goes pretty fast, it's pretty speedy. And this amplifies things, giving it this drive, making the limitation feel urgent even. And we talked about the planets of Venus and Mars that have been traveling along with the sun this whole way through the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and now stage 4. And so we talked about the pressure that has been coming from them, and now with the moon added to it. The moon, remember, in human design is the driving force. So you can imagine the urgency. The not self can see this as trying to push through limitation, trying to push through acceptance, maybe even a false acceptance, especially if you haven't gone through in an efficient way for the last 3 stages. Okay, so that's only going to be there for a little bit, for the next, I think, 4 or 5 hours, so probably till around 8 o'clock Eastern time. Then we have Venus that follows it out later near midnight Eastern time. And this puts the pressure on shifting values and relationships and our standards. But it can also put the pressure on the possibilities of what's coming up when we start anew in gate 41. These things I'm letting go of. These things, they were not correct. They happened last time, over with, done with, been there, seen that, done that. And those are not the standards, and those are not the values that I want to take with me into the next year. It moves out of 60 close to midnight tonight, Eastern time. So after that, you may notice a shift. So the sun, Mercury, and Mars, they're going to stay put there in gate 60, in acceptance, in limitation. Mercury helps to give a way to think about and communicate limitation, the acceptance. And coming from where it just left in gate 61 from the inner truth, it's almost a way to think about, a congruent way to think about the things that you decided was truth based on the facts, and then decide, am I going to accept the limitation in this? Am I going to let it go in order to start anew when it moves into gate 41? So yeah, this energy, Mars can be that raw, mutative, maturing energy. And then the sun brings light on all of these things. So while the sun pressures us to accept reality in gate 60, the earth, like we talked about earlier, it grounds us in the 56th gate. The wanderer. Stimulation. 56 is all about stimulation. It's located in the throat center. It seeks to have this stability through linking the short-term activities of the ideas into this continuity, a way to express the ideas through storytelling. It stimulates with stories, takes the concepts, expresses them out, and tells the world what they believe or what they don't believe. So all of this is going to create a fascinating, really. I can't think of a better word to describe what it might be to observe this. I've been observing all of these stages, not only in myself and how I'm being influenced by the transits and what types of things are coming up for me, but also the people around me. And I think that all of this being in gate 60 at the same time is going to create this fascinating tension during this final stage. And there's nothing to do. We just observe. So gate 56 is one of those metamorphic gates, and it transforms the ideas into some type of expression. But it's not something that you want to take action from the mind. It's meant to turn others onto the ideas, not to decide on anything or even initiate things for your own life. It is in a projected channel. So the Earth in 56, there might be some grounding gate 60's energy from the sun. There might be some restless ideas, some type of stimulation, or even stories that are just chasing each other around in your mind endlessly. This sometimes can be one of the issues that after you go through the stage of finding your inner truth and then realizing that there's these limitations and you don't really want to accept them. A lot of people in this culture of hustle that we live in is, got to improve, got to make yourself better so that way you're worthy. And that's not what this is about at all. It's really about accepting the truth of what is and letting go of the things that really don't serve anywhere. Really don't serve you at all anymore. So all of that, the stimulation, the stories chasing each other around in your head, it grounds the energy of the sun in the 60th gate. So it grounds that acceptance. Because gate 60 is like the wall of limitation. And the more you fight against it, the more pressure that's there. And this is the kind of pressure and tension that stage 4 of the Rave New Year represents. So 56 is about the search for stimulation, that wandering, hungry mind for the next tale, the next insight, the story, to tell your story, to be able to tell your story, to get it out. And then the 60 is the acceptance, the end in line. No more running, no more chasing. It demands acceptance. I mean, it's pure and simple. That's what it is. You can't transcend limitation until you bow down to it. So when you combine these forces, you get a significant potential for transcendence. A lot of mutation potential there. That's the mechanics of it. You can't force it. The way to get there is through surrendering. And with all those planets piling into 60 in just a few hours, there's going to be this significant potential for transcendence. So really, it's about recognizing the wall, that limitation, recognizing you're at the wall and accepting it, just letting things go. This is all in preparation for the sun to move into gate 41, the new cycle, the Rave New Year. Because without this tension, without the 56 grounding the 60, grounding that limitation, there's no release, no true transcendence. It's more like restless ideas, forced to stillness. Stories silenced by reality. I mean, do you see how beautiful that is? The way that these the way the program's mechanics work together to be able to help you get to the page at the end of the chapter and shut it. I used something at the beginning of this series where I talked about gate 41 being the capital letter at the beginning of the sentence. Think of gate 60, the sun in gate 60 being the period at the end of the last sentence in a chapter. Yeah, so pretty beautiful, pretty amazing, pretty spectacular that we have this support to close out the previous year in this way. But if you're acting from the not self, letting your mind run your life, it can be pretty awful. Oh, the agony. Oh, it's just so awful. There's all this limitation and I don't know what to do. I must push through it. Yeah. So, but if you're living according to who you're designed to be, we call that living your design in human design, it's a whole different story. It's more like this peacefulness. The peace of knowing what's over and putting it to rest. And that's the true gift of this stage. With the 5 planets sitting in that gate of gate 60, this is really the perfect time to stop guessing about what it looks like in your own chart and start looking at the actual mechanics. My body graph and my mechanics online both have transit tools where you can look at the ephemeris. If you log into either of those and you go to the ephemeris section of the transit tool and overlay it with your own chart, you'll be able to see how the current transit lines up with your own body graph. And the ephemeris is even color coded, so it's really easy to be able to look at it and see, okay, do any of these planets connect up and make a channel with any of my activations? So if you do this, or just if you know your chart off the cuff, if you have the 3rd gate defined, this transit, it's going to temporarily, or give it an illusionary definition is what I like to call it, temporarily define the entire channel, connecting your root to your sacral. And if either of those are not always defined for you, if that's not part of your body graph, you're going to notice. This is going to bring a massive surge of adrenaline mutation and the capacity to bring order out of chaos. However, that doesn't mean that you need to use it or do anything. Like we talked about earlier, following your personal authority, whatever that process is for you, and your strategy is going to make sure that you're in the right place at the right time with the right people. It absolutely takes tremendous trust to wait for the correct timing while the world rushes all around us. To reflect while the world is going at it and making these resolutions. And, letting go while the rest of the world is clinging to those resolutions, trying to force themselves to continue something when it wasn't even time to start. But by reflecting on and closing out the year properly, honoring these stages that we've been through over the last couple weeks, this is really preparing yourself for a true beginning, a true clean beginning when the sun enters gate 41 in just, 4 or 5 days. So we've struggled, we've assessed our alliances, we've faced the facts, the deck's clearing. Clearing it all out. Stories are being told. But now it's time for the limits to be accepted. There's only one thing left to do. Let go. Human design mechanics become clearer through observation, reflection, and sometimes by sharing what you notice. If there's something you observed during this process that you'd like to share, you're welcome to leave a comment below. Stay tuned for the final video in this series to be released on January 22nd, 2026. Subscribe to continue through the final stage of the Rave New Year and complete the cycle with us. Bye for now.